Barbados getting assistance from Canada to restore the island's fishing fleet. BLP Christchurch South nominee Senator Dr. Chantal Munro-Knight commits to serving the constituency.
Broadcasting from our studios in the Pine St. Michael, this is CBC Newsnight, starting now.
With the Sunday, September 1st edition of Newsnight, I'm Tishia Hines. Barbados' devastated fishing industry will receive help from the government of Canada and the country's private sector. In early July, during a visit to the North American country, Prime Minister Mia Motley held discussions with government ministers as well as members of the private sector. The talks involved securing assistance to get the Hurricane Beryl battered fishing industry in Barbados back on its feet.
The Canadian government and private sector will be playing a key role in getting Barbados' broken fishing industry sailing again. Prime Minister Mia Motley made the announcement at the Christchurch South nomination meeting held at the St. Christopher Primary School. There, she gave the assurance that the government is working around the clock to render financial and other assistance to fisherfolk while pulling out all the stops to repair the Bridgetown Harbour and other infrastructure.
I went in Canada and met with the ministers, two ministers of Prime Minister Trudeau's government, as well as the private sector in Nova Scotia in July, early July. And they arranged that they would work with us to be able to get us back on our feet. Because the reality is that there are only 2 moors in Barbados to build fishing boats. And the 2 moors, each boat can take 3 months, which can't work. So that we need to be able to work once again with our brothers and sisters in Dominica. They don't have the same moors that we do, but they have people who build boats. And therefore, if we can get more moors, they can help us. The people in Canada, they have different types of boats because, especially up that side, they do lobster and shrimp fishing, but we do different types of fishing. And I've learned that our boats have a different set of peculiarities that are unique to this country, but we also will work with them.
While 90% of the fishing boats damaged or destroyed by Hurricane Beryl were uninsured, Prime Minister Motley says government is keeping its promise to give boat owners a 25% grant for repairs and new purchases.
And we will also make it possible for persons to borrow long-term money. Because if you borrow something short-term, the repayment going to be so. If you get the repayment over a long period of time, the repayment going to come down here. And we have said that for those who, because of their age or other circumstances, may not be able to buy, the government will set up a special purpose vehicle and purchase boats and lease them, and the person can decide whether they want to do lease to own in 7 years, 10 years, 15 years, or whatever time it is.
She adds that coastal engineers have advised government it will cost an estimated 27 to 30 million Barbados dollars to repair the infrastructure at the harbour.
And when we repair, that harbour still will not be sufficiently strong or safe or capable of protecting the fishing industry in this country. It is Hobson's choice. If you don't do it, then the men have nowhere to carry their boats for safe harbour, because unlike the other islands in the region that have a lot of sheltered bays, Barbados got straight coastlines.
Prime Minister Motley says government is also looking closely at the issue of the fisherfolk contributing to the National Insurance Scheme. She says government has advanced $1 million to assist fisherfolk and families, while monies donated by other countries and organizations are being placed in a benevolent fund for the fishing community. Anesta Henry, CBC News.
Thanks, Anesta. Staying with the Prime Minister, the government is set to bolster the healthcare system over the next 2 financial years. And according to Ms. Motley, she has signed off on the creation of 289 posts, which will cost approximately $11.7 million. She was speaking following the nomination of Senator Dr. Chantal Munro-Knight to represent the Christchurch South constituency at the St. Christopher Primary School.
We are introducing patient safety officers, and we're introducing a new service improvement manager, because we're not fooling anybody. We know that there must be improvement in service delivery at the hospital. We know that we are short on nurses. And in fact, Cabinet agreed on Thursday that a team of 6 will go to Ghana yet again to be able to allow us to bring in 120 112 nurses from there. But I have agreed also to create in the nursing department 142 registered nurses alone, 71 this year and 71 next year.
Additionally, Prime Minister Maudsley says the Accident and Emergency Department will also see an increase in the staffing complement.
In addition to that, we have committed to being able to create something called a nurse practitioner and to equally have clinical nurse specialists. We accept that the A&E department needs continual beefing up. And therefore, we have agreed equally that between additional nursing assistants, nurses, departmental aides, general workers, orderlies, across the whole spectrum, that we and 2 consultants and 4 senior registrars or house officers, in other words, 6 doctors altogether.
Barbados Labour Party nominee for Christchurch South, Senator Dr. Chantal Monroe-Knight, has pledged to commit 110% to the constituency. She was speaking following her successful nomination at St. Christopher Primary School last evening.
I am committed to walking with you. I am committed to standing beside you. I am committed to making sure that I am shoulder to shoulder with you, with all of Christchurch South. I am committed to the women of Christchurch South.
General Secretary of the Barbados Workers Union, Tony Moore, is suggesting that tourism become a year-long enterprise. This, she says, will allow workers in that sector to be employed throughout the year. And she says the business of short-hour contracts is one that must be fixed. Ms. Moore was speaking during the Barbados Workers Union's 82nd Annual Delegates Conference at Solidarity House.
I'm not talking about short-term contracts that are legitimate because they're seasonal contracts like hotel work. And I have a beef with that because I think that Barbados is beautiful enough a country and has enough product offerings that we can make tourism a year-round thing. And we should be looking towards that.
The union boss says they have always negotiated around seasonality, noting that layoffs come every year in the sector for many establishments. Ms. Moore is, however, urging workers to join the union, reminding them that there is strength in unity.
I'm not talking about that. I am talking the kind like sandals. I'm talking the kind like sandals, where people in a seasonal environment are given the short-term contracts that do what to them? When you up and decide that you want to send home 200 people and a contract finish on August 31st, guess what happened? You going home because your contract done. And that's why we have been urging workers to come to the union, join a collective.
Coming up, the Blackman and Gollop Primary School being readied for the next school term. With the new school term quickly approaching, efforts are being made to ensure the Blackman and Gollop Primary School is ready. Staff and parents join together to make sure everything is in working order and up to standard. Kathleen Plinkett tells us more.
Teachers and parents cleaning, tidying up, and even doing some building at the Blackman and Gollop Primary School. This is all to create the best possible environment for teaching and learning to take place at the Christchurch institution when students and staff return. Principal Harriet Blackman says everything is in place for them to be ready for the upcoming school year.
I recognize as a school it takes a lot to get a school ready. And so today our first initiative is to bring the parents together along with teachers to get the school ready. So today we are cleaning, we are preparing the library, we are cutting grass, we are cleaning up the school, getting it ready for school, because it takes more than just academics to get the school ready. And as we get ready for September 2024, we want students when they come in, students, teachers, and all the school community to feel comfortable when they enter the school compound.
She also says they have a special program that helps children who may not have everything to be ready for the school term.
We have a pastoral care program where we have youth use uniform, use shoes. So we're building cupboard, there's a proper storage unit. We're cleaning, we're pruning, we want sit-down areas, beautification, the whole idea behind getting school ready. So today is the start of getting ready for September 2024.
Getting the school ready also involves transforming the library.
We want children to feel excited about school once again. We want them to feel that this is a place where they never want to leave. And so as we work around, we want to create this particular space, especially sort books, give them everything at their disposal. So in the library, we're looking to read, study, and learn, prepare the library for learning.
The new school term starts on September 17th. Akeem Klinkett, CBC News.
Lifetime Credit Union is celebrating 35 years of existence with 7,000 members and assets of more than $74 million. That's according to President Anthony Innes, who says the credit union has grown by leaps and bounds since it started back in August of 1989 under the name the Barbados Shipping and Trading Employees Credit Union. He was addressing the congregation at Bethel Methodist Church, where members of the financial institution gathered to mark the milestone.
Our members can truly reflect our counseling and assistance over time and know that we truly and unselfishly help them to improve their quality of life and a better financial outcome. It has been just that journey built on trust through generations of members that has brought us to where we are 35 years later.
Mr. Innes adds, despite the credit union's achievements, the journey was never easy. Neither was the path straightforward.
We can recall economic recessions, regulatory changes with which we may not have always agreed at the time, stiff competition, the dreaded pandemic, and the list goes on and on. The board and management had many late nights. As we grew from infancy, it was always never business as usual. But perhaps this is how life is as we grow up. And as any focused adult should, we kept focused on our mission of helping people while seeking God's guidance in so doing.
Anne-Marie Burke is standing by with the weekend sports. That's next.
Good evening with sports. I'm Anne-Marie Burke. Barbados Royals are off and running in the 2024 Republic Bank CPL with victory over the Antigua and Barbuda Falcons this afternoon at Warner Park in St. Kitts. Falcons were sent in and kept to 145 for 9. Joel Andrew top scored with 48 and Obed McCoy took 3 for 31. Royals replied clinically with 149 for 1 in 15.3 overs to win by 9 wickets. Player of the match Quinton de Kock top scored with 87 not out with 9 fours and 5 sixes. Now Zachary Carter slammed a half-century as Signia Globe Financial Barbados registered a 9-wicket win over the Leeward Islands in the rescheduled round 3 of the Cricket West Indies Rising Stars Men's Under-17 50-over Championship. It was played at the National Cricket Centre today in Trinidad. Needing 91 for victory in a match reduced to 20 overs, the Leewards were bowled up for 90 and 18.2 after losing the toss. Kamari Griffith took 3 wickets for 3 runs off 2 overs. The defending champions replied with 91 for 1 off 10.1 overs. Carter was unbeaten on 62, and that included 6 fours and 5 sixes. He put on 66 in an unbroken second wicket partnership with captain Joshua Dorn, who scored 22 not out. Now, for the 7th time this season, Zane Maloney stood on the podium as he finished second in today's Formula 2 feature race at Monza, Italy. Starting in pole position for the first time, Maloney was poised to take the win, but after an incident on lap 7, a safety car was called and neutralized the race, thus allowing championship rival Gabriel Borlateto to take the lead. Maloney's time was 50 minutes 39.77 seconds, while Bartoleto's was 50 minutes 30.337 seconds. Zeno sits third in the championship standings with 135 points, trailing Bartoleto, who has 145.5. And that's it for sports. Up next is the weather with Carrie-Ann O'Neill.
In the forecast for tomorrow, the sun is expected to rise at 5:47 and will set at 8 minutes past 6. Now, the first high tide, that's expected at 3:21 in the early morning and the first low at 9:42 a.m. The seas, well, they're smooth to moderate in open water with swells peaking at 2 meters. The winds, they're coming in from the south-southeast to the east-southeast and they're peaking at 30 kilometers per hour. For us here in Barbados tonight, the tropical wave now at 56 degrees west will maintain mostly cloudy skies along with showers and a chance of some isolated thunderstorms. Over the next 3 days, we can expect overcast conditions, showers, rain and thunderstorms. That's on Monday. Thereafter, we are expecting that instability behind that wave will maintain occasionally cloudy skies along with some showers on Tuesday. Thereafter, we are expecting an improvement in weather conditions.
And that's news. Thank you so much for joining us. Continue to enjoy your evening.